Welcome to the Otis House, a piece of Madisonville history for over 100 years. In the 1880s, sawmill owner William J. built the Otis House.
Mr. J. built this as a family home for his wife Lavinia and their 4 children, and Mr. J. owned the sawmill that was just south of the house, all along the Tchefuncte River. In 1906, Mr. J. decided to move to New Orleans. He sold everything here to the Holton brothers. Then we had the Holtonville sawmill, and Holtonville, the village of Holtonville, basically. And you had a 1-room schoolhouse, a couple of churches, and the Holton brothers, Charles and William, owned the house. When Mr. Otis purchased this in 1936, he came in, made a few changes to the house that we cover through our tour. Our tour follows a timeline from the 1880s when this home was built by the Jays to the 1930s when Mr. Otis purchased the property. When he passed away, he had never married. He had no children, so he left the home, the land, the furnishings, and these wonderful business records to the state of Louisiana as a gift, and requested it be made as a park for public use.
The architectural style of the Otis House is considered to be low Victorian with a Queen Anne influence.
What we'd call a low Victorian style, which was very popular in the 1880s, and then also still very popular in the early 1900s when the Holton brothers took it on. You can see by the turned columns that, which originally were 8x8s, and then had been turned with a lathe, all of the capitals on it, which are really modified and simplified in a sense. The plan is a center hall style, which is very much indicative of the floor plans of South Louisiana, and of course actually many houses throughout the country. These center halls allowed for the air to move through the house almost like a breezeway to utilize the breezes that came off the river. As you go down the center halls, what you'll see also is doors with operable transoms. And the operable transoms allowed here again for the air to create cross ventilation through the rooms and to make them more pleasant during the day and of course at night when you're sleeping.
The room off the hall, you'll see an entry room that possibly could have been used as an office or a music room. As we enter across the hall, we'll enter into a large, what was once a double parlor. And I mentioned the ornate screen. Possibly pocket doors were there when the home was built. This type of screen would not have been placed in a family home. You would have had something more reserved, such as the pocket doors. Today it's set up as a parlor, a Victorian parlor, and a dining room. Upstairs, generally, when this home was built, all of your rooms upstairs would have been bedrooms. You have the large center hall, and then you have the 4 large rooms, 2 on each side off the center hall.
Not only did Frank Otis leave his house to the state of Louisiana, but he left over 100 acres of land that are now used for recreational purposes.
The Otis House is a main attraction for the park. It kind of draws people's attention. You can see it from the road and everything. In addition to the Otis House, we have the beautiful river. You can picnic on a cool day. There's always a breeze coming from the river. Keeps you cooled down. See the sunset on the river, that's really pretty to see, especially whenever it's still, looks like the river kind of sparkles like glass in a way.
The Otis House has been in Madisonville for over 100 years. It's a living example of the lifestyles of St. Tammany Parish in the late 1800s. Thanks for joining us on this tour of one of the many hidden treasures of our community.
considered to be
Say action.
This? Is that what you hear? What are you doing?
influence. I'm gonna nail it this time.
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep tonight. Okay. It's a living example. Oh, I missed this.
Not part of the site history or anything like that. That was
Got to realize being raised up almost to the vibe.